this training a while back and I realized that if I was going to create a business that people wanted to follow, that people wanted to be a part of, a community that people wanted to be a part of, because I love to serve people. I'll go into a little bit of my history in a minute, but it is what I love doing. I love holding that vision for women and seeing their vision come to fruition and giving them very practical tools to kind of make that framework for the rest of their life come to fruition, which is usually their business. So I love doing that. And when I was at this training a while back, I realized that I didn't kind of have my own pillars in place. I didn't know exactly what I stood for. So I went through this little process that really stood out to me, and really kind of was a light bulb moment for me, and created essentially the 5 pillars of my business, Get Traffic Ready. So I wanted to share with you that little exercise in case it helps you out. So what I did was, what I was instructed to do was I grabbed out a bunch of index cards and I just wrote down every single thing that I was interested in. I was writing, and I'm looking over here because it's actually stuck on my wall in my studio now, what I like doing, pricking them out randomly, flicking through vintage recipe books, listening to Empire State of Mind, living in Paris, drinking red wine in front of an open fire, standing in the bush, sitting on a balcony in the sun while the sun's going down, drinking a gin and tonic. There's a lot of drinking themes here, and a lot of food themes too. So that is, but listening to Paul Kelly. When I kind of wrote all that out, and I had kind of 30 or 40 of them out on the table in front of me, there was a real aesthetic to who I was, and I just looked at it and I went, I don't even know if I can communicate that energy I get when I see me out on 40 index cards or not, but heck, knowing them and knowing what I stand for, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to try and communicate it, unless if I hadn't, heaven forbid, I hadn't even kind of done the task, you know what I mean? So there it is in front of me, and I've got it now stuck on my wall. So whenever I'm communicating with people in my group or clients on the phone, I get in that zone. It's the zone that I feel most authentic in and in my integrity most, and I urge you to do the same thing. So grab out some index cards or sticky notes or something like that and do the same thing, all of your interests. Then step 2 of that is going through a process of whittling it down. You'll probably find that they automatically, naturally group themselves into certain areas for you. For me, it was 4 or 5 areas. And then what you want to do is those 4 or 5 areas will become those non-negotiable pillars of you. Everything that you do essentially will fall into one of those pillars, and everything that you create for your business should fall under those, serve one of those pillars. Every way that you kind of get your message out there and amplify your message to people should be as part of one of those pillars. So for me, just for an example, it's got to be connected to good. If I'm working with somebody, their business has got to be connected to greater good somehow, and so does mine. It has to be making space for calm. It has to have enough energy in it to be fun. It has to create rituals somehow, so that sort of thumbing through of recipe books and things like that, and going and getting a coffee in the morning, they're all rituals. But as a part of that, there's a lot that we can eke out of our business that is actually rituals that we do anyway. We just don't think of them as rituals. We usually think of them as systems. So it's bringing in that aesthetic of everything that you stand for, and having that there on a platter for you at your disposal when you're in your creation mode. And the final one for me is expansion. Now, don't go and steal mine, because it won't bloody work, all right? You go and do the work yourself and come back and hit me up anytime on the Facebook page that this video's on, or if you found it on my website, and put in the comments and tell me what your pillars are, because once you've got them, I tell you what, there'll be no stopping you heading forward in your business. That, like I like to think of it, the framework for the rest of your life. And really happy to give you some feedback on that any old time. We can jump on the phone. So look forward to hearing from you. Again, if you haven't seen this on my Facebook page, hit me up there. It's facebook.com/digital traffic chick. I enjoy chatting to people there, and I will see you there. Thanks so much for listening. Cheerio.